Welcome to Coast View, the show that celebrates the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi a better place to live, work, and play. You know, every day we talk to a new leader, not a new leader, but we talk to a leader who is focused on helping to make coastal Mississippi an incredible place to visit. We talk about visitors all the time. Tourism is such a critical part of the overall formula for making coastal Mississippi successful. Today we have Clay Williams from the airport and Milton Segura from coastal Mississippi. First, we're going to be talking to Clay Williams. He's the executive director of the Gulfport-Biloxi International Airport. Clay, good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, good to see you, Ricky. Thanks for having me on the show.
So, how is life these days, man? We talked a few weeks ago, but things are beginning to ramp up at the airport. Talk about that.
It's been an interesting time, and with the coronavirus, we've seen many changes, not only here at the airport, but in the airline industry as a whole. You know, Gulfport-Biloxi International Airport's a focal point, transportation hub for this market. We were having a really good start to 2020. January was a solid month. February was a solid month for us. 20% growth in traffic in February, which is great for that time of year. First half of March was really strong for us from a passenger traffic throughput standpoint. And then with the coronavirus and the stay-at-home orders and the safer-at-home orders, we saw a downturn. We finished down the month of March 46% as the virus heightened. And as the restrictions on travel became more acute and significant, we saw a 92% reduction in travel here at the airport in April. May improved somewhat, 85% down still, but definitely an improvement over April. What's been encouraging, though, Ricky, is in June, we have seen an uptick. We're averaging about 300 passengers per day. That's significantly up from where we were in late March and throughout the month of April. But I would say that we actually, with those numbers, that's attributable to a number of things. You've had a relaxing of some of the stay-at-home orders and the safer-at-home orders. You've also had the military beginning to travel again. People have been cooped up and interested in going places, going to see family, friends, or taking some sort of a trip. So we're seeing that. Our casino partners at Harrah's Gulf Coast have flown many charter flights in June, which has certainly been a boost to the traffic numbers. And we're excited about what's to come. If you look at July, Delta Airlines is going to go back to 3 frequencies a day. So we were at 5. Pre-coronavirus, 5 trips a day to from Atlanta, but we're going back to 3 for July. Beau Rivage Resort and Casino is set to restart their charter program with Sun Country Airlines July 18th. So we're very excited about that, and so really some good things that are forthcoming. Again, as you and I've talked, it's going to be a slow ramp up. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight, but as medical remedies continue to come about and a potential vaccine is developed, all those things are going to help. Plus, as states around the country reopen, that's a benefit too.
So if I remember right, first of all, you said 300 flights, 300 passengers a day. You had actually dwindled down to 100 or less a day at one point, right?
Absolutely. At one point, one day in April, Ricky, we got as low as 50 passengers.
Man, that's incredible. So let's kind of take this. Let's take this and start to break it down just a little bit. So really good to hear about the charter services for the casinos. Let's talk in general first, and then we'll talk about specific airlines. But what I notice is, if you look across the United States, I want to talk about the passenger experience, because I know you guys have worked really hard to make sure that everything is disinfected in multiple times a day. You're working on social distancing and all that. Still, people are concerned, what happens when I get inside the airplane? I'm not able to social distance. Is that is that a confusing message, or how are airlines dealing with that? I know that some are dealing with it different than others. Some require face masks, some don't. Talk through that a little bit.
Yeah, it really, the important aspect on which we're all focused in their variety of partners that are involved with this, health and well-being of the passengers. What's going to make for an enjoyable, safe, and convenient experience for the passengers. There are really four elements, Ricky, if you think about it. You've got the airport in our involvement. You have the airlines. You have TSA. And then most importantly, the passengers. And there are really a number of things that have been taking place to ensure wellness and health safety. If you look at the airport, for example, we've been deep cleaning the terminal facility. We have a great team here at the airport that is going above and beyond to sanitize the facility, to ensure that all the high touch point areas are constantly cleaned and disinfected. We are placing floor decals throughout the airport. If you come into the airport and you're at the airline ticket counters, we place floor decals that are social distancing markers that basically say, here's a 6 foot point. Try to stand 6 feet away from your fellow passengers. We have implemented those at the security checkpoint when people are going through TSA. In addition to that, we've got signs posted throughout the terminal building that note the CDC guidance. Passengers are critical in this. We highly encourage passengers to wear a mask when they're coming into the terminal facility. I'm going to talk about the airlines in just a moment, but we actually have the guidance out there telling people to please cover your nose and mouth when you cough, to ensure that you stand 6 feet away from your neighbor. If you're not feeling well, stay at home, go see a doctor. So there are a lot of common sense things that passengers can do even prior to arrival, while they're in the building. There are a number of steps that we've taken that we continue to take. If you look at the airlines are requiring all three that are operating at the airport, American, Delta, United, even the charter flights, telling folks to wear a mask when you go to get on the airplane, and to be sure that that you're social distancing yourself while you're in the terminal facility. Now, they're doing what they can. The various carriers are on the aircraft where they can space people out. They're trying to do that. But one of the things that you've seen is more stringent stance by the air carriers in recent days in the last week over face coverings and over masks. That's an important element. Airlines are doing a good job in ensuring that the aircraft are cleaned on a regular basis. I mean, they were always cleaning the aircraft, but now they're using fogging equipment and they're using electrostatic disinfectants. And not only are they spraying down the seats, they're also spraying the jet bridges that you go on before you board the aircraft. And so a number of precautions that are being taken by the carriers, by the airport, and even look at TSA. When someone goes through the security checkpoint, TSA now says, please hold your own boarding pass. So when you would typically hand your boarding pass to the TSA security officer, they're saying you scan it yourself now. If your boarding pass is on your mobile phone, you scan your phone when you're checking in, as opposed to handing that to somebody and then they're touching your phone and they're handing it back to you. So those are some additional steps that they're taking. TSA has now said that you can carry up to 12 ounces of hand sanitizer with you when you're going on aboard a flight. You can, they're wearing gloves, they're wearing masks. So a number of things have been implemented to try to enhance health and wellness and safety.
Wow, that's so interesting. For example, you wouldn't think of something like 12 ounces of hand sanitizer needing to make that provisional change in the way, they work people through the security process. But obviously that's important.
Wipes. You've got disinfecting wipes too. They're now allowing you to take those aboard. So again, those are some changes that have been implemented to try to enhance the experience.
So let's talk about the different carriers.
So again, here operating at the airport, you have American's flying right now to Dallas, Fort Worth, and to Charlotte. You have United flying to Houston. You have Delta flying to Atlanta. You have charter operations that are ongoing for a couple of the casino properties. As I mentioned, Harrah's has been flying this past month. We were very glad to see their program get restarted. They're utilizing Elite Airways and Swift Air for their players that are coming into the market. Beau Rivage Resort and Casino is set to begin their restart of their charter program with Sun Country Airlines. And so those are the carriers that are currently operating. And again, all with enhanced health and safety practices. You'll note too, when you come into the terminal, that most have now implemented the plexiglass shields at the airline ticket counter and at the gate. So you're not having as much face-to-face contact and interaction with the gate agents and the ticketing personnel.
So is there any difference in how how each of the carriers are handling the situation? In other words, are some more aggressive than the others?
Yeah, their processes and protocols differ from one another. We do encourage all passengers when they're flying to check with their respective carrier on what's permitted and what's expected of them at the current time. Some, for example, Ricky, have limited in-flight beverage service and food service now. Some have limited the serving of alcoholic beverages. They're giving some prepackaged food and beverage to the passengers.
So let's do this. This is Clay Williams, the Executive Director of the Gulfport-Biloxi International Airport. When we come back after the break, we'll continue to kind of break it all down, understand, where we're going from here. We'll also talk about the noise mitigation program they're working on and some other stuff that's happening. Life goes on in an airport, even though the traffic may be down. Thank God it's growing. We'll talk a little bit more about that after the break.
Subscribe for free to the Coast View podcast on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Matthews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. We have Clay Williams, the Executive Director of the Gulfport-Biloxi International Airport, that we're continuing the conversation with during this segment. And then on the other side of this, the other half of the show, we have Milton Segura from Coastal Mississippi Tourism, a great friend of the show, someone who's been really focused on making sure the visitor experience in this new pandemic world is a safe one. Have a terrific conversation planned with Milton, so look forward to joining him in the next segment. But Milton's been a great partner for you, hasn't he, Clay? I mean,
really have. I enjoy working with Milton and his team at Coastal Mississippi. The Convention and Visitors Bureau does a great job. Whenever we have a new route that's coming from an outer market, I'll give you two examples. Nashville, when it was starting to fly, the Orlando service, they have been supportive in advertising in those markets, and we greatly appreciate that. While we try to promote the airport here in the local community and garner as much outbound utilization as we can, the Coastal Mississippi is key in helping us to bring visitors in. So we thank them for their partnership.
So Clay, you know this in this pandemic environment. One of the things that we did after Katrina and the tourism effort as part of the Governor's Commission is we worked really hard to bring everybody together, because as you know, the tourism effort along coastal Mississippi was somewhat fragmented, right. And this opportunity that we got to bring them all together underneath one umbrella. I mean, a post-pandemic situation that we're facing today is precisely the kind of thing we had in mind, and having a more centralized approach to promoting coastal Mississippi gives you basically a single partner to work with in all of your efforts to make the airport stronger. That couldn't be more important, could it?
It's very important, and having one single voice for tourism, I think, is critical, because there's so many things that take place in Harrison County that impact Jackson County, that take place in Jackson County that impacts Harrison or Hancock. So having them as a partner and an ally to help bring more visitors here, while we ultimately hope to see the number of visitors flying grow, and it has grown over time. We're still very much, and Milton speaks to this, a drive-in market. But again, with casino charters and with their involvement and with numerous amenities coming online, everything from the aquarium to the Oasis to the various amenities that our partners at the gaming resorts have to offer. We have an attractive destination, and it's one that they certainly can help us sell and gets more people flying. As people fly, Ricky, in the coastal Mississippi's heard me say this many times, we want people to fly here because they stay longer typically than someone who drives. They have more discretionary income, and they're going to spend more while they're in the local economy. So we're always excited to welcome them here to the coast.
It was really good to hear you say that Harrah's cranked up their charter service again, and that the Beau Rivage is due to get started here soon. Man, that's really good to see. I had a great visit with Travis Lund recently from the Beau Rivage. He's the president, as you know, the Beau Rivage, and they're so focused on making sure that the Beau Rivage is a critical partner in the efforts to help coastal Mississippi come back, as is all the casinos, from John Ferrucci over in Hancock County to, you named them. We are so aligned right now. I mean, we all have a common enemy right now. This is a pandemic and the economic downturn, and we're all sort of working together to bring it all back. But as it relates to the casino charter service, how big of a partner were they prior to the pandemic?
They're tremendous partners, Ricky, for the airport and for the coast in general. If you think about our air service, casino charters, in particular, the significant and robust program that the Beau Rivage has, that's 23% of our air service here in this market. Harrah's Gulf Coast has really done a good job in growing their charters over the last year or so. Any additional service that we've added, whether it be Orlando, whether it be Austin, Fort Myers, the seasonal offering that we have, the Nashville service that had just started, none of that's possible without the gaming industry. They have to participate, and their involvement is critical. We've had good support from MDA with some incentives that they've been able to help bring in some of this service too. So it's really a team effort. It requires the airport, the gaming industry, and Coastal Mississippi Convention and Visitors Bureau to make something like that happen.
This is Clay Williams from the Gulfport-Biloxi International Airport we're having a conversation with, but I want to make sure people heard that percentage. The Beau Rivage is 23% of your total volume.
Sure.
I mean, when you realize, when you look at it in that much of a focus for a second and realize how significant that is, it helps you recognize what the casinos brought. They brought marketing power. They brought amenities. They brought incredible hotel rooms. They brought charter service. They're helping make our airport even more successful. Man, it's so important that we continue to move forward and send the message. Milton and I are going to talk about this in great detail coming up, but it's important more than ever that we send the message to the world that this is a safe place to visit. Right. And we've had a slight uptick in Harrison County. Dr. Conger, who I spoke with yesterday, said that essentially he expected that. Hopefully it won't be anything gigantic that we have to deal with that causes us to be set back. But we are opening up the economy. You would expect to see the numbers to slightly go up. I'll play a little segment about that conversation in the next segment with Milton. But man, all signs are moving in the right direction, that we're slowly, but especially surely, moving this thing back to where it needs to be. And I think we're going to continue to see good things, because I think Mississippi, and coastal Mississippi in particular, has a competitive advantage in this new world that we're in, because we get it. We really do get it, don't we?
It's critical that everybody is on the same page and partners. I mentioned those other routes that we've been able to generate in the last couple of years. And without additional casino partners getting involved, getting engaged, you look at IP Resort and Casino, you look at Golden Nugget, you look at the Island View casino resorts, a Silver Slipper, others. It's critical. We have to have all of them participating in order to make these flights work and to generate additional visitors, because with our market size, we are small, but we do have a lot to offer. And when we do partner together and strategically plan, we've been able to accomplish some of these things.
So, Clay, in the time we have left, let's just talk real quickly about the other aspects of the responsibilities you guys have at the Airport Authority. You don't just run the airport; you have lots of things that you're doing there. So, just kind of run through it. How's the recovery of all other aspects going?
So the Airport Authority has 1,600 acres of land under its purview. We have approximately 40 tenants. If you look, that's everything, Ricky, from retail concessionaires to hotels to restaurants to our rental car partners. It really runs the gamut, even to the military side of the airfield, where you have Air National Guard, Army National Guard. So there's not really an element of the business that hasn't been impacted, obviously, by the coronavirus. But as we see steady increases here, again, as I mentioned, everybody needs to be patient. The ramp up will come. It's going to be slow, but everybody benefits in that, because it's a trickle down effect to all the ancillary businesses. But things have been improving steadily. People are doing their part here. We can't brag on them enough. The team here, the tenants, the partners, and trying to ensure a safe, convenient, and easy to use facility. And so we really continue to stress that. And we're a community partner. You mentioned a minute ago before the break the noise mitigation program that's been ongoing. The Gulfport-Biloxi Airport was fortunate that they were approved back in 2005 by the Federal Aviation Administration to implement a noise mitigation sound insulation program into the community. So the FAA has a predetermined noise exposure map, which indicates homes in the vicinity of the airport that are eligible for sound insulation. So we ended up sound insulating through our construction partner 790 homes in the vicinity of the airport. In addition to that, we sound insulated 18 apartments, one school. We acquired over 300 navigation easements, and we acquired 10 parcels of land. And what that does is it builds strong community partnerships, and it allows for the airport to continue to operate uninterrupted into the future. So that was it's a $42 million program since 2005. So you had participation from the Federal Aviation Administration, the Airport Authority, and the state of Mississippi. So we were very proud to implement that, benefit the neighbors, and then conclude.
Wow, what a cool program. What an important program. We're out of time now, but it made me think of when I was at Bellevue Elementary School and the National Guard would be training. This is many, many years ago. My teacher used to say, "That's the sound of freedom." And that was a lot of years ago, man. There's been a lot of sound, people having to deal with sound from the airports, particularly as it relates to National Guard, for many, many, many years. So anyway, Clay, thank you for your friendship for, Coast View, and your personal friendship, and for your continued leadership over there. Continue to, plug away, man. Stay focused, and I hope y'all continue to grow.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always good to visit with you.
Okay, buddy. This has been Clay Williams, the Executive Director of the Gulfport-Biloxi International Airport Authority. So we'll see you with Milton Segura after this break.